Okay, so I'm going to walk you through Zoho Expense this time. It's very similar to many other pieces of software that you may have been exposed to. I've been using Expensify for quite a while. It really makes life easy for me to keep track of all my expenses when I do all the traveling I'm doing. It's easy to submit for approval. It's easy for you to scan the receipts and you don't have to carry a bunch of receipts around with you. So when I'm at Cracker Barrel, if I'm eating dinner, when I'm done, I scan it right into my phone. I throw the receipt away. If you want to hang on to your receipts, of course you can, but it just makes things a lot easier. I am going to show you a second video later when I'm doing it on my phone so I can show you how the phone component works. In this case, I'll show you how to access your Zoho Expense from your desktop. You can manage your reports, your expenses. You can drag and drop pictures that you might have on your desktop, which is what I'm going to do now, and just show you some various ways to use it. So just like in the other software with Zoho CRM, you can add expenses to a report. You can go into an existing report and add expenses from there. You can create reports from inside your expense. So there's lots of ways to communicate between the different components of this. So you don't have to feel like you have to do it one way or the other. They're interchangeable from either direction. So in this case, I'm going to show you, I already have a report built in for my ambulance trip in Michigan, which is going to happen next week. I'm also going to California in a month. So if I wanted to, I could have multiple reports open in the system, and I can be, if I purchase a plane ticket today, I can put those in several weeks before I go, and I can keep track of those expenses in advance before I actually go for that particular week. So in this case, I'm going to show you how to add in an expense. Let me walk you through, I'm sorry, before I go too fast, and let's just create another report. So in this case, I'm going to create a report for California ambulance visit. Okay, so I'm going to be going to California. I can put in specifics about that, but it's pretty common sense. You can put in the duration of when that time frame is going to take place if you'd like. And I can submit expenses right from here before I even build a report, or in this case, I can just hit save. So now you can see I have multiple ones in the system that I can track and I can do whatever I want with. So that's how you create a report, which is relatively easy. Now let's go in and create an expense. So I'm going to create an expense. The first thing I'm going to start with is just dragging in my actual receipt. So I can click here, I can drag my receipt in, and that will show what the price is. In this particular instance, normally I scan all my receipts through my phone. In this instance, the gas pump didn't have any paper, so it ran out, so I took a screenshot of the actual gas that I paid for at that time. Okay, so I bought this gas on the trip home yesterday on Sunday, so that was yesterday's date. I purchased it from Exxon, so if it's a previous customer you've used, it will pop up in your history. You can see that stuff will start populating if you've already used this before. It is a fuel expense. However, it can be an automobile expense, lodging, meals, travel expenses, whatever. So put it under the correct thing so that we know what it is for. Then put in the total price, so it's $43.16. The description of what it was for, so it's fuel for Elite Ambulance. Okay, so that they know what that was for. If you have a reference number, you can put it in, and then I can apply it to one of the two expense reports I already have built. Okay, so in this case, it's for the trip to Michigan. Now, if I didn't have one built yet, I can just create a new report right from here, as opposed to doing it under the report screen, which we did earlier. So much like Zoho CRM, they are interchangeable and you can do things from different screens. Okay, so I'll just click this, and then I'll hit save, and then it will upload it. Now, in this section, you'll see I can add mileage in. I can do bulk ads of a lot of different stuff under one expense. So let's say I had 10 receipts that were for one expense. I can put them all under in one place, and it makes it a little easier. So I can also attach multiple receipts here. And if I make a mistake or I need to change something, I can just hit the trash button. So there's my expense. It's in the system. You can see everything that's in there, and it populates. So I can go in here. I can change a report. So if I say, oh, I put it on the wrong report, I can change it or add a new report there. I can edit the one that I've already created. Underneath more, I can clone this. If it's something that I do multiple times for the exact same transaction, I can do it multiple ways, or I can delete it and redo it if I need to. Okay, so really the two main components you're going to use initially as you're building your first couple expenses is the reports menu and the expense menu. Okay. Now, once you're done and you want to submit a report, so let's say I go in and I have this one and that's the only thing I'm putting on that report. Okay. So when I'm done with this report and there's everything I need to, I can click submit. When I click submit, it will then forward this information to me as a copy, but also send to Mindy for approval. So Mindy will approve it, then she'll submit it to the office for final payment. And that's pretty much it. Expenses are relatively simple. If you have something that's out of the ordinary or something, get with me, get with Mindy. We can tell you how to add it in, and you can look at some of the more advanced features later as we start getting this up and running. But this is a relatively easy system. Again, I will show you how to do the actual scans. All it does is the exact same thing we just did, but instead of dragging and dropping a picture of the receipt, I actually use your camera on your phone to snap a photo of the receipt, and it uploads it that way. Otherwise, the steps are identical, whether you're doing them on your phone, an iPad, or on a desktop version. I will tell you, if you're doing a ton of receipts, it is sometimes easier to just sit at your desktop and punch them all in than having to do them on your phone. But if you're managing it while you're on the road and you're doing them one here and one there and one there, it is 10 times quicker to just use your phone. So if you have any questions about this component, let me know, and I'll get this uploaded, and then I'll go over the meeting component, the Zoho meeting component. And then the last thing I'll work on before the end of the day is try to get as many of the actual apps completed so you can see how to use the apps on your phone for these same pieces of software. Thank you.